So you've got some money saved up, and you're looking at a car wash. It seems almost too simple. Cars get dirty, people don't want to wash them themselves, you build a place where they can pay you to do it. The machine does most of the work, nobody's getting a custom order wrong, nobody's sending back a meal. A car goes in dirty, comes out clean, and you collect the money in between. You start looking at listings, and the first number that hits you is the range. A car wash can cost anywhere from $100,000 for a small self-serve operation to over $2 million for a full-tunnel express wash with the works, vacuums, membership kiosks, the whole setup. So which one do you actually want? Let's start at the bottom. A self-serve car wash is the cheapest entry point into this business. You're talking about a handful of bays, coin or card operated, where the customer does the work themselves with a pressure wand and a vacuum. You can pick one of these up, building included, for somewhere between $150,000 and $400,000, depending on the location and how many bays it has.
The appeal is obvious. Almost no labor. The customer is the employee. You're not scheduling shifts, you're not dealing with no-shows, you're not training anyone how to greet a guest. You show up to collect the cash from the machines, restock the soap, and fix whatever broke this week. And something always broke this week. Self-serve equipment runs constantly outdoors, exposed to weather, used by people who have zero financial stake in treating it gently. Pumps fail, hoses crack, coin mechanisms jam, card readers stop reading cards in the rain. You're looking at maintenance costs of $500 to $1,500 a month just keeping the bays operational, and that's before anything major breaks. The revenue is modest and weather-dependent in a way that should genuinely worry you. A decent self-serve location might pull in $4,000 to $8,000 a month in good conditions. Then it rains for 2 weeks straight. Or it's the middle of winter in a state where nobody's washing a car that's about to get salted again the next morning, and your revenue falls off a cliff with absolutely nothing you can do about it.
This is a real business. People do make money on this, but it's slow money, and it's the kind of business where you're never quite sure if this month's maintenance bill is going to eat the entire month's profit. So you start looking up. The next tier is the in-bay automatic. Single bay, the car pulls in, a machine wraps around it and washes it while the driver sits inside. This is the kind you see attached to a gas station. The equipment itself runs somewhere between $80,000 and $150,000, plus the building, plus the land, putting your total investment somewhere between $300,000 and $600,000, depending on whether you're building from scratch or buying an existing location. This one needs slightly more attention. You need someone checking on it, handling jams, dealing with the customer whose side mirror clipped the machine because they didn't pull forward far enough. But it's still mostly unmanned, mostly automated, and the throughput is better than self-serve because one car finishes every 5 to 7 minutes instead of someone spending 15 minutes scrubbing their own wheels.
But here's where the real money is, and it's also where the real risk is. The express tunnel wash. This is the model that has taken over the industry in the last 15 years. The car drives onto a conveyor, gets pulled through a tunnel of brushes, soap, and dryers, and comes out the other end in 3 to 5 minutes, while the driver never gets out of the seat. You've seen the lines for these on a Saturday morning wrapping around the building. Building one of these from the ground up costs between $1.5 and $3 million. The land, the building, the tunnel equipment itself, the vacuum stations, the pay kiosks where customers can sign up for a monthly membership without talking to a single employee. This is not a side hustle anymore. This is a real operation with real staff, even if it's a small crew. You need someone greeting cars at the entrance, someone managing the vacuum area, someone handling the kiosk when a customer's membership card doesn't scan. Labor costs run somewhere between 15% and 30% of revenue, depending on how automated your specific setup is.
And here's the number that changes the entire business: the membership model.
Instead of charging $15 or $20 per wash, Express Tunnel signed customers up for unlimited monthly memberships at $25 to $40 a month. The customer thinks they're getting a deal because they're washing weekly. You're thinking something completely different. You're thinking about recurring revenue. A location with 2,000 active monthly members at $30 a month is $60,000 in revenue every single month before a single drive-up customer pays a dime. That revenue arrives whether the member washes their car 4 times that month or 0 times. Most members wash less than they think they will. The math works enormously in your favor. This is why private equity firms started buying up car washes aggressively starting around 2015. They weren't excited about washing cars. They were excited about a recurring revenue subscription business disguised as a car wash. The membership model turns a weather-dependent, unpredictable cash business into something that looks a lot more like a gym membership or a streaming subscription. Money that shows up automatically every month, regardless of whether the customer actually uses the service.
A well-run express tunnel doing strong membership numbers in a good location can generate $800,000 to $1.5 million in annual revenue. After labor, utilities, chemicals, equipment maintenance, insurance, and your loan payment on that $2 to $3 million build-out, you're looking at net profit margins somewhere between 15 and 25% in a good year. That's $200,000 to potentially $350,000 in profit on a single well-located tunnel wash. This is why everyone's suddenly building these on every corner. And that's exactly the problem you need to think about before you sign anything. Location is not just important in this business, it is almost the entire business. You need traffic count, a busy road with thousands of cars passing daily. You need visibility from that road. You need enough land for the building, the tunnel, and a stacking lane long enough that cars waiting in line don't back up into traffic and create a problem with the city.
Finding that piece of land, zoned correctly, in a growing area that isn't already 3 blocks from someone else's tunnel wash is genuinely difficult. And because private equity has been buying and building these aggressively for the last decade, the good locations in growing markets are getting harder to find and more expensive every year. You're not just competing with the wash across town for customers, you're competing with every other operator looking at the same growth markets, the same available land, the same traffic counts, trying to lock down the spot before someone else does. Now let's talk about the part nobody mentions in the sales pitch. Water and chemicals are an ongoing cost that scales directly with how busy you are, which sounds fine until you remember some states have serious water restrictions, and some municipalities charge car washes significantly higher commercial water rates specifically because you're using thousands of gallons a day. A busy tunnel wash can use 200 to 400 gallons of water per car. Multiply that by 200 cars a day, and you start to understand why your water bill is a real line item, not an afterthought.
Equipment maintenance on a tunnel system is not optional and not cheap. The brushes wear out, the conveyor system needs servicing, the dryers, the soap applicators, the underbody flushers. Every single component is running constantly, all day, every day the wash is open. And when one piece goes down, you're either operating with a degraded wash quality or shutting the whole tunnel down until it's fixed. And then there's the thing that catches a lot of new owners off guard: damage claims. When you run an automated system that physically touches every car that comes through, eventually something goes wrong. A loose side mirror gets clipped, an antenna gets bent, a custom rim gets scratched. Most of the time it's minor and your insurance handles it. But the angry customer standing in your lobby holding their phone, already filming, already threatening a bad review, is now part of your daily reality in a way it never was in the self-serve model, where the customer was doing all the work themselves. So, which one should you actually buy? If you've got under $400,000 and you want something closer to passive income with low complexity,
the self-serve or in-bay automatic model is realistic. You won't get rich, but you can build something stable, especially in a climate that supports year-round washing.
If you've got the capital, the patience to find genuinely good real estate, and you're willing to actually operate a small staff and build a membership base, the express tunnel is where the real money lives in this industry right now. It's also where the competition is fiercest and the entry price is highest. Either way, you're not really buying a car wash. You're buying a piece of real estate with a recurring revenue machine attached to it, in a business where location decides almost everything before you've washed a single car. The customer pulling through your tunnel on a Saturday morning thinks they're paying for a clean car. What you're actually selling them is convenience on a schedule they don't even realize they've agreed to. That's the business.